There were some parts where I was just like, alright, like, what are we doing?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to check your luggage? Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
If they had me feeling this way for 2 clickers, I better shit my pants when the bloater shows up. Hey, yo, these cold opens, though. Alright y'all, welcome back. And today, we're going to be talking about episode 2 of The Last of Us show on HBO. Y'all seem to like the last episode review that I did and wanted me to make more, so I guess that this is going to become a series on the channel. So if you haven't checked out my previous video, I suggest that you do that and then come back to this one. Link will be in the description. Oh yeah, and I also decided to record myself watching the episode just so that I can like have some live reactions to moments in the show that I can put into the reviews. So let me know if you guys like that new addition. And also, spoiler warning. But yeah, we're about to get into this. If you're new here,
maybe you should have somebody deported like you used to in the old days.
Beautiful.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with me so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching and I hope you guys enjoy. And without further ado, let's get it! So episode 2 starts off with another banger of a cold open, this time taking us to Indonesia 2 days before the outbreak started. And we follow a scientist who was called in to investigate a worker who has been infected. This was once again a perfect tone setter for the episode, and it also allowed us to learn more about the Tilu universe and its lore. And this time we learned where the infection began, and we also learned that motherfucker's initial reaction to how to deal with the infected was to just start blowing stuff up. There was no evacuate, quarantine, no, just blow everything up.
Jadi apa yang harus kami lakukan? Bom.
We already knew that government started bombing cities in the game, but this kind of shows where that idea originated. And another thing that this cold open did was confirm a theory that Joel, Sarah, and Tommy all just barely missed being infected. Because in this cold open, they say that the infection broke out at a flour manufacturer. So it's safe to say that the cordyceps infection was originally spread through flour. And in the first episode, Sarah isn't able to make Joel his birthday pancakes, and Joel also forgets to get himself a birthday cake, both items that contain flour. And Joel also jokes in the show about being on Atkins, which is a low-carb diet, so he wasn't really eating any flour products to begin with.
I'm on Atkins.
And at the time of him saying this, we see that old grandma literally being force-fed a biscuit, which contains flour, and she was also the first infected person that we saw on the show. So this cold open pretty much confirmed that theory, which I think is pretty cool just to see how grounded in like reality and science that this infection actually is. So these cold opens have been fire because like I said, they've been perfect tone setters for the episode, but it also serves as a way to let the show inform us on, you know, new things in the Tulu lore, which I think is really dope. So I definitely hope that they have more of these cold opens for us. Hey yo, these cold opens though. So we pick up where the last episode left off, where Joel and Tess have found out that Ellie is infected, but she's actually immune to the infection. Which of course they don't initially believe, and they're pretty much at a crossroads at what they want to do. Do they want to continue the plan? Do they want to kill her and go back? They kind of have to figure out what they want to do. And one of the things that stood out to me in this section and in this episode in general was the dialogue. For the most part, it was pretty well written and felt natural. There were some parts where I was just like, alright, like what are we doing?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to check your luggage? Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
You're a weird kid.
But I liked how quick and like witty the dialogue was, especially between Joel and Ellie.
She found me after I was bitten.
And she didn't shoot you.
Clearly not. Can I have a gun?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Jesus, fine. I'll just throw a fucking sandwich at them.
Arlene packing one of these or just sandwiches?
You ever stay in a place like this?
I don't even know what this is.
Have you heard of books?
Where'd you learn to do that?
The circus.
It wasn't like Tarantino levels of wit, but I definitely caught myself laughing a few times. Now I know that I made fun of Bella Ramsey in my previous video, and I was kind of neutral on her performance in the first episode, but after this episode, I finally accepted Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and I think that I pinpointed that exact moment.
In here. Tear out a few pages.
That's
There's not gonna be
dirty.
anything bad in here?
Just you.
Oh, funny.
if she so much as twitches.
Don't.
Nah, she's stupid. That's so deep.
Okay.
Someone commented on my last video and said something like, yeah, Bella might not look like Ellie, but she definitely has Ellie spirit. And because of the way that the dialogue was written in this show, I agree with that statement 100%. And I think that she's gonna do a really good job as Ellie in this series. Now, once Joel and Tess get on the same page that they're gonna continue the mission with Ellie, they start to make their way through the city. And I like in this section how they use Ellie's like never being outside the quarantine zone before as a way to give us the audience as well as Ellie information on the infected, and new information at that, because I personally didn't know that the cordyceps infection kind of like connected all of the infected together.
They're connected.
More than you know. The fungus also grows underground. You step on a patch of cordyceps in one place, and you can wake a dozen infected from somewhere else. Now they know where you are. Now they come.
I played this game multiple times, but I only remember like the key moments. So there's definitely a possibility that I might have missed this detail, but I'm about 80% sure that this is like a creative liberty that the show took. And I'm sure somebody will let me know if I'm wrong down in the comment section. And we also learned how Ellie got infected. You know, she was fucking around in an abandoned mall. She got caught lacking, got bit, and got infected. And she also tells us that she was by herself, which...
So it was just you in there alone?
Yeah.
Cap. Now eventually Joel and them decide to head through a museum because the original route that they were going to take is covered by infected. And this section in the museum was amazing. Like the atmosphere that was set during this sequence had me feeling like uneasy and on edge in a good way. Like I personally would have considered The Last of Us a horror game, but this sequence in the show definitely felt like one. And the way that they handled the first clicker encounter was phenomenal. I talked about this before and how I was interested to see how the show interprets like key gameplay moments into the show in its like own unique and new way. And this was a perfect example of them doing that, because the sequence in the game and the sequence in the show are two totally different experiences of the same exact scenario, which I love. And I'm pretty sure that Neil Druckmann made his like directorial debut with this episode, and he did an amazing job. And also shout out to the DP on this episode as well, because you felt the fear through the actors' performances. You felt the presence of the clicker, even though you didn't really see it all that often, until you did, of course. Come on, bro. And you felt the danger that they were in. Hey, yo! This sequence had me holding my breath, and this was just for 2 fucking clickers. Like, yo, if they had me feeling this way for 2 clickers, I better shit my pants when the bloater shows up. Like, if I don't shit my pants, I'll be disappointed.
Nasty bitch.
So after their encounter with the clickers, they eventually make it out of their museum and make their way towards the Capitol building. Oh, and the fact that Ellie got bit again was fucking hilarious.
You f***ing kidding me?
Nice. Nice. Even though this didn't happen in the game, they definitely did it for a reason, as you guys are gonna see. But anyway, up to this point, it was pretty cool to see like gameplay mechanics getting translated into the show. You know, like Joel boosting Tess up, or Joel and them crossing a gap by walking across a plank of wood. Like mechanics that were in the game that everybody knows if you played the game. It was definitely cool to like see those translated into the show. It's also always cool to see the paralleled shots from the game and the show.
Is that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, can't deny that view.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, you can't deny that view.
So they finally make it to the Capitol building, and this is where the show takes the most creative liberties, in my opinion. Now in the game, they show up to the Capitol building and find the fireflies that they were supposed to meet are dead.
No. No, no, no.
They don't really explain what happened to them, but we kind of assume that they got caught by Fedra and were shot. But in the show, they say that one of them got infected and ended up taking them all out.
Who killed them? Fedra?
One of them got bit. The healthy ones fought the sick ones. Everyone lost.
Which is whatever, you know, a fine adaptation. We also find out that Tess got bit back during that first clicker encounter. Oof! Which is why they had Ellie get bit again, so that Tess and Ellie can compare their bites and show that Ellie's immunity is the real deal. Now Joel and Tess go back and forth, and Joel eventually agrees to continue the mission and take Ellie out west. Now in the game, Tess wanted Joel to take her to Tommy, but in the show, Tess wants Joel to take her to Bill and Frank. Now the biggest change from the game to the show was definitely with Tess's blaze of glory, because in the game, Fedra shows up and Tess decides to stay behind to buy Joel and Ellie some time to get away, because she says,
You want us to just leave you here?
Yes.
There's no way that...
I will not turn into one of those things.
but in the show, instead of Fedra showing up, a horde of infected pull up because of Joel shooting the now infected Firefly. And since they explained earlier that the infected are connected, they come running. Oh. And Tess decides that she's gonna buy Joel and Ellie some time by blowing up the building. So she sets up everything and Joel and them leave, and the infected start to pour into the building. Tess tries to light a fire that will spark the explosion, but her lighter starts to act up. Now in the midst of the infected pouring in, Tess is still trying to, get her lighter to work, and an infected notices her and slowly starts to walk towards her. And he doesn't bite her, but instead, he basically French kisses this bitch. And before she's fully infected, she eventually gets the lighter to work, she drops it, and then... Now Tess's death was met by a lot of mixed emotions, because firstly, it kind of went against her already established character, because in the game, she literally says,
I will not turn into one of those things.
But in the show, she just stands there and accepts her fate. And secondly, it was kind of strange and gross how this infected basically just tongued this bitch down. Now I personally wasn't upset by this change, but it was definitely a strange one. That was kind of nasty, I'm not gonna cap. And I already noticed, but I didn't really speak on the creative choice that they made to have some of the infected have the cordyceps tendrils coming out of their mouth. I noticed it back in the first episode when we first saw the infected grandma. But I think what made Tess's death so jarring was, of course, the reason that I mentioned before, but also because we've never seen or heard of somebody getting infected this way. Like I said before, I personally don't give a fuck, but it was definitely a strange and unsettling choice, which was definitely intentional. I was definitely interested to see how the show tackled key moments from the game and translated them to the show in a new and fresh way, and this was definitely a way for them to do that. And they explained why they made this choice in an interview, basically saying that the reason why infected bite people is because most of the time people are being violent and resistant toward the infected, and they wanted to explore what it would look like if somebody wasn't being violent and resistant to the infected and instead accepted their fate. And this is what they came up with. I'm not gonna cap, Tess almost fumbled that bag. I don't know why you didn't just pick up a gun and shoot the barrel. She literally picks up an AK and doesn't use it. I don't know why you just sat there and decided to get French kissed by a clicker or an infected person, but hey. So let me know what you thought about this change to Tess's death. Did you think it was dumb? Do you think it was strange? Do you not care? Let me know down in the comment section. But yeah, that was episode 2. Definitely another banger in my opinion. My favorite part of the show was definitely that first clicker encounter sequence. The atmosphere and tone were great. The cinematography was dope. The actors' performances was amazing and believable. You actually felt that danger. And I definitely like how they translated this key gameplay moment into the show in a new and unique way. Let me know what your favorite part of the episode was down in the comment section below. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you want to see more like this shit, oh yeah, and one time for the one time, let me get a yeah.